Good morning, everyone. It's Evelyn. I was doing my Divine Masculine read yesterday, and more codes were coming through, so I wanted to do my best to explain to you how they came through, because if not the message, the images are definitely important for you guys. I was getting in my code line yesterday, which I'm going to present that read still today. I had been getting 3T, and I'd been getting 3Bs, like the Better Business Bureau, the day before. And now 3Ts were coming up along with Michael Jackson, Leonardo da Vinci, and Tesla as well. So the 3Ts came up here, and the through-hole connection with borders having to do with making sure you have boundaries. And the through-hole has to do with the portals, the wormholes, the quantum leap. But the 3Ts, I'm going to start at the top here. There's 2 pages of symbols, all right? The 3Ts, you see the 3Ts across here, and they look like the letter M. So the references equals M equals 2 pi, like there's 2 symbols of pi here. Also like a twin home, like row homes, okay? It also can look like 777, 177, or 3 people with their arms over each other's shoulders, all right? This is the triple T here. So the 2 pi's equals 3.14 plus 3.14, which equals 6.18, which, by the way, phi is 1.618, or since pi is March 14th, phi would then be January 6th. And what's January 6th? But the day that some people think Christ's real birthday is. Very interesting. So it also is the 2 pi's. 3 is the Empress, 14 is the, so 314, 3 is the Empress, 14 is the Temperance card. So that is 2 mothers and 2 angels, 2 earths and 2 suns, equals the 6.18, which equals the lovers, twin flames, the 2 of wands and the lovers. So here's 2 drawings actually of pi, 2 eyes, and the eyes have it. The triple T, which is all of these different things symbolically, when you reflect it upon itself, looks like this in one way, which then is actually 2 H's, which is the 2 stacked 4s that I was talking about, the lap dance of the chairs stacked on top of each other. There's 2 H's, which is the double 8s, which I always talk about the H's being the 3D energy and the 8s being the 5D energy. And then the 2 8s, of course, reduced to 16-7, which is the tower energy, and the 7 as well. So over here, because I have a whole alphabet for the codes that I've been downloaded over the past 3 or 4 years, P, capital P is my pin diagram, which I presented a couple years ago. But P is, the capital P represents pi, but also represents the human circle, the human embodiment of source, grounded to the left, but uncentered, right? So P plus B plus D, and these are lowercase, and this one's uppercase, equals the pin, literally. So here's the P, and then the B and the D are the lower parts of the pin. The pin, or the pinhole, is like the hole in the field, the pupil, the quantum jump, the leak, the way out, the portal, the leapfrog. So literally, and R for me represents when the pin is open. So in my diagram about the pin, I had shown you that the pin represents the masculine and the feminine. When it's open, this is the feminine part, and then the central sun is up here. So the feminine collects the energy from the sun and the central sun. It goes down through here in the loop, and then it loops into the second loop down here, which is the masculine energy, which is also the back here, and then the housing is the P up top. So when the pin is closed, the vacuum is sealed, right? Because the feminine has brought energy in and passed it to the masculine. It seals the pin closed, and then when the masculine has used up that energy, the vacuum dissolves and the pin then falls open again for the feminine to go back out and collect more sun or codes, okay? So then with the leapfrog was coming up, I was getting this diagram of the 3 dots and the leapfrog, and it was reminding me of my brother because my mother used to call him Jimmy Jump Jump. And so then jimmying it open also came up with the 2 leaps, the triple T's, and also 3T is Tesla. It's the most powerful MRI magnet that you can get. The 3 T's again equals the M, the 2 pi, the twin home, and reflects the 88. So then pi, I brought up March 14th, or 3.14, So March was coming up, and Pi actually happens to be my daughter's birthday. And the March of the Angels, because 14 is the angels, 2 by 2, right? The ants go marching 2 by 2, hurrah. So March of the Angels, the eyes of March, so again, the eyes up here. And then the twins connect to ground and sun, reach down, but also reach up at the same time. So up here is now showing you that we're in 3D. So whereas this middle part is pi, right? The circle with the diameter of the circle. And out here are the lines showing phi, the expansion. In 3D, we don't have this expansion outside ourselves. But in the 5D, as we jump down here, we have the expansion outside ourselves, but we let go so much of the 3D body. And this is showing the two worlds split in December, where the people in 3D don't have the ability to see this, the phi expansion, the part of you that's 5D. They can't see that. They only see this, which then for you becomes lighter, okay? Because we're raising our consciousness, we're ascending to lighter light bodies, okay? So others can't see the 5Ds expand. That's what I'm referencing as them. Others can't see them expand in the 5D because they're in 3D. They're in the 3D body here of the pi. The toroidal field, the bottom of the apple, this is like the toroidal field. So the bottom of the apple, the triangle here, or the pyramid, is the masculine energy down here, and the one up here, the triangle, is the feminine energy, which the stem of the apple would be right here. So the toroidal field, the bottom of the apple, is the divine masculine pyramid here. The toroidal field, the stem of the apple, is the divine feminine period. Oh, that's interesting. Pyramid up here, but period comes up as well. I was reading something today that I might want to present to you guys. So the dimensional boundaries in the two worlds split. So again, here's the toroidal field, just a very blatant example, with the two triangles, the feminine triangle and the masculine triangle or pyramid. And what's coming up is the Morse code, the DaVinci code. And right, so when I was getting this, it was showing me like that, like the Morse code. And then DaVinci code was coming up because Leonardo da Vinci was coming up. And then Cope code, which Cope is my maiden name, but also it all comes up, it is a word. Can we cope with this? And the Cope code came up right after I did all of this. Literally, if you take the name Cope and code and put them together, because the only difference in the word is D and P, you literally get this. So if I move the C of cope into the O, and I move the E into the D of code, okay, we have cope and code all in this, and then you can collapse it even more to 1 because the E already has the letter C incorporated in it. So this is literally the P and the D, which can represent paid for in full, but also representing the note, the 8th note, which comes up in my references a lot. And then if you flip this the other way, you get this, which represents the Q and the B. This represents the D and the grounding to the left, and then the Q and the B represent the reflection of that. So both ways come into the next page, which is going to show you both of these together. But as they collapse, it's just showing you this symbolically, the Cope code. And we're going to go into the next page now, okay? But this is the Cope code. And then going into this page, let me just clarify it a little bit. So that image that I just showed you here with the E and the notes and the P's and the Q's, the sealed and paid, and that's just representing the PD symbol. The sealed and paid human collapsed in upon itself, which is the letter E with directional pull. So these are the arrows pointing up and down to ground yourself to the earth and ground yourself to the central sun. And the E is a circle, which is the human embodiment of source, but it's collapsed in upon itself, the letter E, which the letter E also represents the circular energy, okay? So we go back to the toroidal field and the Vesica Pisces, and notice that the Vesica Pisces is a rectangular shape, not a square. In order for us to get to the square, we can't be two separate circles at all, partially merged. We have to be fully merged as one. So the 5D is represented by the square and the perfect oneness, right? We can't be square or diamond, right? Because when we turn the square, it becomes a diamond. We can't be that diamond energy until the 5D because we're not fully merged into one. The rectangle is 3D, it's not 5D, okay? So it's very interesting the way this was coming up. And there's that pinhole reference too in the middle of the diamond. So as the sealed and paid human collapsed in upon itself with directional pull, just turn the key an eighth note. So an eighth instead of a quarter, because if you turn the square a quarter, it's just going to become a square again. If you turn it an eighth, it becomes the diamond. And what is the diamond? Nothing but two pyramids put together, okay? Or two triangles. The eye of the storm, the common thread, the dream catcher, the hole-in-one. The eye of the storm is the head of the needle, which is bigger than the hole it needs to get through, like when a baby's head is born. The earth is square, source is round, ground and toggle up, music bass tones and high pitches. We are rectangle, not the one, quote unquote, until we are square, which is the diamond energy representation here. Turn an eighth degree to the diamond. The key code is the square one, not the two merging. In diamond shape, the pyramid bases then face each other, not the heads, and then they must surrender and collapse in upon one's self, or in other words, your other. The 72 marching 2 by 2 equals 144. 44 with their leader, Source, and the Masters. The 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles, which is 72 and 72, equals the 8 of Pentacles and the Magician, the 44. The 8 of Pentacles actually equals 72 plus 72, the 144. So that's literally what 144 is. But the 44 is the 4 of Cups, the grounding, integrating, mastering of love, plus the 1 of the Magician is all you need. The dance of the DNA strand, okay? The ladder, the reflected triple T's, with just a quarter turn becomes sideways. The 3 T's reflected upon themselves. The 3 eyes, they then become eyes. The 3 eyes have it. An eighth turn dance of the spiral DNA strand. So when you have the DNA representation here upright and then horizontal, if you do this in 3D motion, it then becomes the spiral, right? So the quarter turn represents the 3D imagery or the 2D imagery even. But when you go an eighth of turn, it's representing the in-between or the agonal or the, I'm trying to think of the word I want to use. Well, you understand what I'm saying. Instead of being perpendicular and horizontal, the angular perspective represents the spiral DNA because it's not just upright and horizontal. An eighth turn, which is in between, represents the dance of the spiral DNA strand, so the circular motion of the DNA strand, the energy loop inside the human with no goal, right, at 0 point. So here's the energy loop inside the human embodiment of Source, and representing the directional pulls from both sides for the masculine and feminine, the masculine and feminine. And then I was being shown to show the 12-strand DNA across and down with the Source energy here of the E representing the energy, the circle of the human embodiment of Source with the directional pull for each, the masculine and feminine, when they're together in the square, because that represents the oneness. And again, here's showing you the triangles with the bases facing each other or the points facing each other. And you see the Celtic cross example here. And then this configuration presenting the diamond square in the middle. And then this is them all together representing the 12-strand DNA in both directions and the human embodiment of Source here with the toroidal field of both the masculine and feminine, because this represents the diamonds of the toroidal field up here, okay? And then they look like little dreidels, you know, twirling and dancing together. So it was really cool. And then here's the representation of the energy swirling. So I just wanted to bring that to you. The images will definitely bring down some codes to you. So please let me know what you think, or if something relates to you, if you received any similar codes. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'm going to be presenting the Divine Masculine read as well today. So make sure you catch that too, because this is where this came from. And as always, make sure you drink your water, get your rest, your joy, your nature, and rise and be loved. Bye.